And while Prime Minister Narendra Modi said that he had an excellent meeting with Russian President Vladimir Putin and they reviewed all aspects of bilateral relations to further boost the strategic relationship between the two countries. The PM also said that he looks forward to increasing trade and people-to-people linkages with Russia. President Putin invited Prime Minister Narendra Modi formally to be the main guest at the Eastern Economic Forum in Russia in September. Today, the Prime Minister will hold bilateral talks with Iran President Hassan Rouhani, and after the summit ends today, the Prime Minister's bilateral visit to Kyrgyzstan will begin. He is all set to inaugurate the India-Kyrgyzstan Business Forum. It is day 2 of the summit after a very successful day 1. Of course, a big snub to Pakistan that was given by Prime Minister Narendra Modi, where even pleasantries weren't exchanged between the two. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Narendra Modi is indeed the most sought-after leader at the SCO summit. Today, of course, is another hectic day lined up, as today Prime Minister Narendra Modi will be holding bilateral talks with Iran President Hassan Rouhani. And after the summit ends, the Prime Minister's bilateral visit to Kyrgyzstan will begin. Straight away, cutting across to our executive editor, Abhishek Kapoor, who's joining us from Bishkek, getting us all the live updates. And Abhishek, coming to you, it was a very successful day 1. Prime Minister Narendra Modi, the most sought-after leader at the SCO summit. And today, again, lots lined up. Take us through it.
Well, yes, Suesha, let me just give you an idea of where I am. I am at the International Media Center of the SCO Summit inside the Presidential Palace in Bishkek in Kyrgyzstan. And it just gives you an idea of the media contingent present from around the world, and specifically the SCO countries, 8 members and 4 observer nations. So we have media contingents from Russia, from China, from Pakistan, from Iran, from Afghanistan, and of course the Central Asian republics, Kyrgyzstan, Kazakhstan, Tajikistan and Turkmenistan. So that's the scene here about Prime Minister's engagements. 2 bilaterals today and 2 polar sides. The bilaterals are with the Iranian President Hassan Rouhani and Kyrgyz President Jinbekov, and then there are 2 polar sides with Belarus and Mongolia, both observer nations of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization. Before that, of course, Prime Minister would be arriving here at around 10 a.m. and then there are unofficial engagements, and the actual plenary of the SCO summit starts at 12 noon Bishkek time, which should be about 11:30 a.m. India time. And then Prime Minister speaks. We are told that Prime Minister is the first one to speak, as in Prime Minister Narendra Modi would be the first speaker of the plenary of SCO summit. It opens with his address. The plenary would go on for about 2 hours, when every leader would get to speak and make their statement, following which there would be a joint photo op, and after that Bishkek declaration, which would include SCO agenda and the discussions and deliberations that take place during the plenary. So that's how the day is planned so far as the SCO summit is concerned. Of course, immediately after that, Prime Minister heads to his bilateral with President Hassan Rouhani of Iran, and then again comes back for his bilateral with the Kyrgyz side, where he's also jointly inaugurating an India-Kyrgyzstan Business Forum with a top-heavy business delegation also coming with the Prime Minister from Delhi. So that's how the day is planned so far as the SCO summit is concerned. Prime Minister has had very fruitful engagements yesterday, as we saw, with President Xi Jinping of China and President Vladimir Putin of Russia, and of course President Ashraf Ghani of Afghanistan. That's how the day had planned yesterday. Suesha.
Absolutely, Abhishek. Very fruitful engagements with Russia, China and Afghanistan. And of course, the biggest headline also remains how Narendra Modi snubbed Pakistan. In fact, pleasantries also weren't exchanged between Imran Khan and Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi. If you could also take us through what happened yesterday and even the bilateral that is planned today with Iran, what will be the agenda?
Well, there were two occasions when the two leaders were under one roof, so to say. One was the informal dinner hosted by the Kyrgyz president, and the other was a concert orchestra by the Kyrgyzstan National Philharmonic. At both places, the two leaders were placed in a manner that they did not come face to face and engage in any manner. We have been told by our sources in the diplomatic corps here that as a statesman, if Prime Minister Narendra Modi bumps into Imran Khan, there is no possibility or there is no way to avoid it. So obviously some kind of exchange happens, some kind of exchange of pleasantries happen. But what we are being told is that even today, for example, at the photo op and before that photo op of leaders in the ceremonial lounge where the leaders wait, and then in the plenary when all the leaders are on the same table discussing the SCO agenda, there is a likelihood of that engagement happening again. It cannot be ruled out, but like it happened yesterday, our side was prepared just in case it happens. Beyond exchange of pleasantries, there would be nothing. If at all Imran Khan, the Prime Minister of Pakistan, takes it further and indicates towards any kind of initiation of any dialogue, then obviously what message has to be carried to the Pakistani side is already, of course, ready, which essentially means that terror and talks cannot go together. So that's the official position. As I said yesterday, despite the two leaders being under one roof on two occasions, there was no engagement. There is a likelihood of, or there is actually a design by which both the leaders would be under one roof again for more than a couple of hours. Whether that gives them an opportunity to again engage or bump into each other, that of course, as I said, we have to see, wait and watch till the time it actually happens.
Abhishek, also tell us that Prime Minister set to inaugurate the India-Kyrgyz Business Forum later today. Take us through its significance, and also will this mean a bigger boost to trade relations between the two countries?
Well, naturally, Kyrgyzstan has been pushing for increased tourism from India, from increased investment from India. Now, just to give you a perspective, Suresha, Shanghai Cooperation Organization is essentially China's backyard and even Russia's backyard. All these Central Asian republics are essentially those that were part of the erstwhile United States, the USSR essentially. And now, if you look at the trade situation, if I go back to the 2018 figures, while India has total trade of about $2 billion with the Central Asian republics, which includes Kyrgyzstan, China has about $50 billion. So that's the massive gap that is there. So there's a lot of potential to really scale up investments and economic ties with this region, including Kyrgyzstan. So the business forum is essentially about looking at exploring those opportunities, exploring those business opportunities, and to make India even more relevant in this part of the world.
Right. Abhishek, we'll keep coming back to you for all the updates. Many thanks for bringing us up to speed with all that has been happening at the SCO summit. For the moment, thank you for joining us, and we'll keep coming back to you through the day.